I didn't mean to.
So you killed your wife, you stabbed her, is that correct?
Yeah.
So as I review the record, there's an indication in the record that there is a history of domestic violence. All right.
I,
Mariner, is that you?
yes, it's me.
Would you introduce yourself? Tell us your name and DOC number, please.
My name is Ezra Durand. My DOC number is 98349.
Brander, is that how you say it?
Yeah, Duranda.
Brander. Well, Mr. Brander, my name is Cheryl Renatz. I'm serving as chair of today's panel. My colleagues on the panel seated to my left is Bonnie Jackson, and to my right is Ms. Pearl Wise. Before we get started this morning, Mr. Durander, I want to Judge Bonnie Jackson, seated to my left, was the sentencing judge in your case. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Do you have any objection to her serving on your parole panel this morning?
No.
You're ready
No.
to go ahead and proceed this morning?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Mr. Durander, I'll read some information to the record. I'm going to ask you to confirm that information. Then we'll have an interview with you. I'll start that process. We'll hear from Warden Millis. Then we'll hear from the folks who are here today. You should be able to see them on the screen. We have your, in opposition, we have the victim's sister, Ms. Bell, and another sister, Ms. Humphrey, as well as we have Rita Humphrey and Dana Humphrey. At the appropriate time, we'll ask for their comments. At the very end, you'll be allowed to make a statement if you'd like before we vote. Okay?
No.
All right. Would you tell us your name and DOC number?
Eddie Duranda, 98349.
All right, Mr. Durander, you're classified as a second felony offender. You're currently serving a 40-year sentence for manslaughter. You were sentenced in January 2003. Your parole eligibility date was January 19th of this year. You have a good time date, which has been adjusted to April 19th, 2035. And you have a full term date, January 19th, 2042. Is that information correct?
Correct. It's correct.
So, Mr. Durander, how old are you, sir?
60.
60?
60.
60. All right. I must have did my math wrong. I figured you were 62. How long have you been in jail? How long? How many years have you been in jail?
19.
19 years. And, sir, can you tell us why you're here? What happened? I know I said you're here for manslaughter, but why don't you tell us what happened?
I got off of work one day and my wife had called me. And she asked if I was going up to my in-laws. And I told her, yeah. Then I went over by my in-laws. And we started drinking over there. She met me over there. And basically, we got to arguing from there. About some drugs. And,
So you were arguing about drugs, you said? Is that what you said?
Yeah. Yeah. And we went back home. We was arguing on the way home. We went back home and we got to arguing some more. So I didn't mean to, like you said, the reason was just to scare, not to hurt her, you know. And I ended up hurting, hurting.
You end
I
up
didn't
hurt.
want,
I'm having a hard time hearing you, sir.
Since you screwed up a little.
I said I ended up hurting her by mistake. I didn't mean to.
So you killed your wife, you stabbed her, is that correct?
Yeah.
So as I review the record, there's an indication in the record that there is a history of domestic violence. Is that correct?
Yeah, that was only they bothered me. I didn't bother them. I didn't really bother them. They came and picked at me most of the time. I was trying to leave them alone.
Well, let's talk about your prison record. So you've been in jail 19 years. I see you've only had 3 write-ups. You've taken some substance abuse. You mentioned the drugs. You had some drug issues. I do know that you've taken Living in Balance in 2007 and again in 2021. You've also taken some anger management. That was a while back. That was in 2006. Are you currently being followed by mental health?
Yes, I am.
On a regular basis?
Yeah.
Do you take medication?
Yeah, I take medication.
I mean, I saw in the record some health medication, but you also take mental health meds?
Yeah, I do.
Know what your diagnosis may be? Mental health?
I forgot. Yeah.
Does the medicine help?
Yeah, it helps.
Good.
Keep me calm.
Good. I noticed that there's also some indication in the record that you're disabled.
Yeah, I'm disabled.
What's the nature of your disability?
My leg, I had surgery on it. I had screws put in it. And I can't work.
That's been since you've been incarcerated?
That's before I got incarcerated.
So you're also involved in a number of faith-based programs. Mr. Durander, if you were successful today and were granted parole, where would you go? Where would you live, rather?
I live with my daughter.
Where's that at?
'84 Benson Drive, Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Baton Rouge with your daughter. Do you have a good relationship with your daughter?
Yes.
I'm not sure. I guess since COVID, you probably hadn't got to visit with her.
I can't hear you.
I said, since COVID, you've probably not been able to visit with your daughter.
So we had me visiting with your daughter.
No.
So, you mentioned that you and your wife were arguing over drugs. What was your drug of choice?
I was really crack.
Crack cocaine. So you took Living in Balance 2 times. What did you learn from that?
And a lot, not to be able to do drugs. Don't do it no more.
So do you have a desire to do that?
Occasion, sometimes. I do.
And so how do you resist? What do you do?
I just brush it off.
You just brush it off?
Yeah, I just brush it off.
So what do you do all day? If you have a duty status, right?
Yes.
What do you do all day?
Well, the squad 9 is not working right now. Squad 9, I'm on squad 9.
And what does that mean, squad number?
They go behind the kitchen and do vegetables,
Okay.
wash vegetables.
Processed vegetables?
Yeah, yeah,
You like doing that?
yeah. It's all right.
What kind of work did you do before you came to prison?
Detail calls, the truck drive, stuff like that.
So your last write-up, I believe you've only had 3 write-ups. The last one was in 2010, so you have a good conduct record. Why do you think we ought to consider you for early release?
Y'all would never have any trouble out of me again if I'm released. I promise. I had enough.
Warden Millis, is there anything you can tell us about Mr. Durander?
I mean, he pretty much covered the Mr. Knox. He hasn't had any write-up since he's been here. He's taken a lot of classes. You had mentioned he took the anger management in 2006. He's currently in it again. He's enrolled again, taking the class again at this time. He is a member of Strive, so that's a good thing. And he's a member of the incarcerated vets. But he hasn't really been any issue since he's been here. Like he says, he's on squad 9. And, when vegetables are processed, he's out there working on processing the vegetables.
Ms. Jackson, some questions. Ms. Jackson.
Good morning, Mr. Durander. I just want to, did you complete high school?
Yeah, I finished at the GED state of Texas.
You got a GED in the state of Texas?
State of Texas. Yeah.
I'm having a little trouble hearing you.
I have a GED in the state of Texas. I'm
All right,
finished.
Okay, and you got that way before you came to jail, right?
Yes.
What kind of, do you know what kind of medicine you're taking for mental health?
No, not right off.
I mean, you take mental health medicine every day or once a month? You know anything about how often you take medication?
I take it twice a day, every day.
Okay, but is that for mental health or is it for something else?
Some mental health.
Okay, but you don't know what your diagnosis is.
No, not right off.
Okay. Does that medication have any side effects? Does it cause you to be drowsy or sleepy or confused in any way?
No, it calms me, keep me calm.
Okay. Let's see. And you and your wife didn't have any children together, is that correct?
That's correct.
But she did have children?
Yes. Yes.
How old were those children when the crime happened?
One was 20, 18, 19 or 20. That's the baby.
Uh-huh.
The other one was 30-something, 20-something.
Her children were adults when she died?
Yeah, they were adults.
You have one child from this relationship, is that correct?
I actually have two.
Okay. Uh, do you have contact with both of them or just your daughter?
I have contact with both of them.
Okay. But you plan to live with one of your daughters. How many? You have a boy and a girl or two
Boy and a
girls?
girl.
Okay.
Boy and a girl.
You plan to live with your daughter in Baton Rouge?
Yes.
This was, Ms. Renasi, that you had taken some faith-based programs, but you haven't taken substance abuse, correct?
I took substance abuse.
Did you take substance abuse treatment?
Yes, I took it.
Okay, because all I saw was living in balance and anger management. I didn't see any substance treatment.
I took it.
Living in Balance is the substance abuse program.
But not, okay. And you took that twice, correct?
Correct. Correct.
And you took anger management, correct?
Correct.
How long, do you remember how long ago it was that you took anger management?
2000.
Long time ago?
Yes. It's been a while.
Did you ever take victim awareness? You know what that is?
Reentry.
You took that in reentry?
Reentry.
Okay.
Yeah, that part. Yeah.
Okay. Are you able to work, Mr. Garinder? Are you able to maintain a job on the outside?
It has to be a part-time job.
Why?
If I'm able. Because I'm disabled.
Okay.
I got
So how are you able to work behind the kitchen?
this is duty status. My duty, kind of duty status I got allowed me to work behind the kitchen.
Okay, but what do you physically do? What's your physical job?
Just squat 9.
And you can do that?
Yeah.
Because I can't do that. So what would prevent you from being able to work on the outside?
Well, I guess I could work on the other side.
Well, I mean outside of prison. What would, if you got out of prison, what would prevent you from being able to hold down a job? That's what I'm trying to find out.
I have a back injury from the military
Uh-huh.
back in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
And I got granted payments. And that's what I get.
Did you have surgery on your back?
No, not yet.
Well,
Not
I
yet.
mean, you have had it now. I mean, you didn't have it when you got the injury in the military?
Oh, I got
Surgery?
treatment. I got treatment, but it wasn't surgery. Because my back was isolated.
Okay, and that prevented you from working?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Darren. I appreciate your answer.
All right, at this time, we'd like to hear the victim's family. If we can start off with Ms. Bell.
Should have left that thing alone. The picture.
How y'all doing?
Good morning. Good. Go ahead,
Yeah,
ma'am.
yeah. My brother is the one that's gonna speak?
Mr. Ricky?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Mr. Taplin.
How y'all doing today? I just want to say that the same injury he got now and had in the 70s, he had it when he took my sister's life. He had no right to take her life. We as a family have gets together every Saturday and we eat together. And that's one we miss. And it was 13 of us, only 4 of us left. I don't feel like he had the right, and I don't feel like he needs to get out of there. Because he most of the problems he had before he killed my sister. You know what I'm saying? And man, we really missed our sister because we close family. And only God had the right to take people's life like that. And I just don't feel like it's right that he get out. He should stay in there and do his time. Cause he just really took somebody away from us. I mean, I love him. I love my sister. We as family, we stick together. Just every weekend we eat together. We enjoy each other. Because you never know when the next one leaves. And he really took me. I mean, he took her away from us. That's all I got to say.
Thank you, Mr. Taplin. Thank you, sir. And we have with us Miss Rita Humphrey, also the victim's sister, but we have Dana Humphrey speaking. Your microphone's on mute.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning. Okay. I don't think he ought to get out either. He took our sister's life. He left her in there for 7 hours. He left, went all the way to New Roads. And then years later, I see his cousin. His cousin said, "I'm so sorry about your sister. Eddie tried to get me to lie for him." You know, I don't think he ought to get out. We do miss our sister. We are a close family. And we always getting together, eating, just enjoying each other's company. And what else you want to say, Dinah? Nothing here. And I don't like the fact that he lies about everything. He's not a truthful man. He lies. He tried to sue my auntie because he jumped off the apartment and hurt his leg. It's just so much about him. And I tried to get my sister to leave him, but she didn't. So, but yeah, I said that. Mm-hmm. But that's all I have to say. I just think he ought to do his 40. I don't think he ought to get out.
Yes, because we feel if he do get out, he can hug his family. He can talk to his family. He can call his family, but we can't call my aunt. And also my mom used to let my aunt and him watch me, and she trusted him. And, as a child, I tried to think back as far as I can, but I can only remember the age of 5. He molested me and he took advantage of me when my aunt wasn't there, and she trusted him also. And for years, it traumatized me. And I always wanted to write him a letter. And I wanted to ask him why. Because I was so young and I was so innocent. And I never wanted, I started having kids. I'm 34 now. I never wanted a daughter. And now that I have a daughter, I don't want her around nobody. Because he pretended to be so nice. But behind closed doors, he did these things. And I remember one time my aunt, she said, "Ride to the store with your uncle." And I said, "I don't want to ride. I don't want to ride." Because I was so scared to tell her. Because he would always tell me these things. that it would happen if I tell her. And I said, I don't want to ride. And she said, you know, ride with your uncle. That's your favorite uncle. She had no idea. So when I would ride with him, he would make me perform oral sex on him. And at that time, they was living off of Harrison Street, and I was 7. And I remember my mom asking me, she said, I don't know, she must have had a feeling. She asked me one time in the car, she said, you know, that's only your uncle by marriage. She said, if anything, if he ever touched you, just tell me. And I said, okay. And I tried to tell the truth at one point in time to my aunt, but it didn't go well because she had him right there and everybody was screaming and hollering at one time. And I was young. So he was hollering, tell her it's not true. So I just said that I lied, but I wasn't lying. So I finally told my mom years later. So we was happy that he was put away. But now when we found out that he was coming up for parole, I had to say something because it's a sensitive subject and nobody else in my family knew but me and my mom. But I have to say something because I don't think he deserved to be out of jail, because if that's what you like, you know, just putting it out there, little girls, that's what you always like. You get out, you might hurt somebody else. Your daughter may have a daughter. And that's what I want to say.
Thank you, Ms. Dana, and all who have spoken today. Your participation is really important to the process. Thank you so much.
Now, this was an unexpected blow to my heart. I literally stopped what I was doing. I really wanted to thank her for bringing this up because I wanted to say that if a child is averted by an adult, please do not force them upon that adult. I don't claim to be a psychologist or anything, but I was a child. Now, I have had adults that did right by me, and I absolutely love them. I actually trampled over my cousins and my brothers to get to this adult. But then there were adults that I was completely averted by, and there was no way for me to articulate why I did not want to be around this adult, but I just knew that what they were doing and their behavior around me was absolutely wrong. Now, I do acknowledge that some children suffer from separation anxiety, but I do encourage parents to do their due diligence and use some discretion here. And I thank her so much for bringing this up as a cautionary tale. And I send my condolences out to the family for their loss in this case.
In the record. Mr. Durander, this is your first opportunity at parole. I believe you're enrolled in anger management now, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to vote to deny your parole today. I'd like to see you complete the anger management. I'd also like to see you complete a victim awareness class. I know you said you took that in pre-release, but there's a separate class specifically for victim awareness. I think you could benefit from that. And based on the need for additional programming, the opposition that's been expressed here today and in the record, my vote today is to deny your parole with the encouragement that once you complete those programs, at least from my perspective, I'd like you to reapply for another parole hearing. That's my vote. Ms. Jackson?
All right, Mr. Arender, my vote today likewise would be to deny, but in light of what your niece has disclosed to the board, even though you have not been convicted of a offense, I really think it's important for you to take the sex offender treatment program. And I'm going to make that a recommendation to the institution that you be enrolled in the sex offender treatment program. But my vote today is to deny because of victim opposition and because you need additional programming. Get in those programs and then reapply when eligible.
Mr. Eddie, I concur with my colleagues. My vote is to deny for the reasons already stated. I join with my colleague in the sex offender treatment class. I mean, there is a aggravated sex offense that a write-up you got in 2010. An indication that there was something non-sensual going on. So that's concerning. It's very concerning. My best wishes to you, sir. Just continue to take the program that we suggest, and as it's been stated, reapply when you're eligible. And I'm just appreciative to everyone who participated in the process. Thank you.
Mr. Barrender, your parole's been denied. Got some work to do. Reapply when you're eligible. Good luck to you, sir.